What's up, everybody? Dan here with Dan and Sarah Makers, and I'm coming at you with a special Tool Tuesday. Why is it special? Because it's coming out on Saturday. It has been so long since I've done a Tool Tuesday that I figure I've got some cool stuff that I want to show you that I just got, and so let's do this thing. So, quite a while ago, I did a video on tying rebar, and I had some of the miscellaneous tools out that I used at the time to tie rebar. Well, at the time, I had this pouch here, which I kept my rebar pliers in, which are just a pair of channel locks, and they have a little hook on the end of the handle here, which is kind of indicative of rebar tying pliers. It allows you to kind of have that plier hooked on your hand, especially when you're tying in a downward position. It's always kind of right there, especially because you're opening and closing it a lot. It's a lot easier to kind of hold in your hand. So this is what I used for years and years. As you can tell, they're pretty dirty, pretty gooey, but they worked. I also used this pouch for a little while. This is made by Klein, and this basically had an area where you could put some pliers on one side. You could put a folding tape ruler or something in here, or maybe another pair of pliers like I've done here. And then you could put a keel or something like that, a lumber crayon, for marking your bar in this area here. So now that I've been working on a larger job and I've seen rebar guys, rod busters, working, and I see what tools they actually use, this is not really what they use. So as far as a belt goes, yeah, pretty much any type of belt, a leather heavy duty belt. In some cases they'll use like a nylon belt, or if they're climbing rebar mats for walls or tall pilasters or something, this belt will be incorporated into their fall harness. A bolt bag is pretty much a given. Klein makes them. They have the white canvas ones, which get really dirty and really tattered after a while, but they also make a black fire resistant one. Haven't actually seen anybody carrying the fire resistant ones. A tape measure holder. These are kind of optional because some guys will actually carry their tape measure in their back bag if they carry a tape at all. A lot of times they'll just carry their 6-foot wooden rulers in their I've heard these referred to as Beckett's, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but they have like a New York, Boston, Chicago style Beckett depending on the type of pouches. But tape measure holders, about 50-50. Some guys use them, some guys don't. A lot of guys, if they do carry their tape, they carry it in their bolt bag. They'll carry cans of spray paint back here, water bottles, things like that. And then, of course, a tie reel. A wire reel here. This one is made by Ideal. Most of the guys carry Klein made tie reels or wire spools, but I've got an Ideal, which is fine. And then there's a pad that goes behind it with kind of a thick leather portion here to protect your leg, because these have just aluminum loops on it that you don't want necessarily rubbing against your side all day long. So you get this leather pad on the back side. So this portion here is pretty standard. This is kind of universal. This is what you're going to see, except for the brand of the wire spool itself. So like I said, this particular setup here is not what they carry. I feel rather blessed and a little bit special because I've kind of been brought into the inner circle of rod busters, and they've shown me some unique tools that they carry that you can't just find off the shelf anywhere. So I've been watching, looking, seeing, talking, all that good stuff with these guys, and actually find out what they really use. This is what they use when they want to have a good pouch for their pliers, their ruler, paint pen, and a keel. So what exactly is this? Well, it only carries a few tools, and I'm convinced that rod busters carry some of the fewest tools in the industry. So we're looking at, what is that, 5 tools total. We got our lineman pliers here, and if you'll notice, they don't have any handle grip, like colored grip like what you would get them when you buy them. These here are actually Klein heavy duty rebar pliers. And these are, let's see, a 2000 series, so the model number is a D2000-9ST. And they normally come with these blue handles on them. But rebar guys don't keep these handles on them. The rod busters, they cut them off, and they just go with the metal handles. Now, I'm not sure if it's a thing when you journey out you start using these, but a lot of the younger rod busters or apprentices, they don't have these on their handles. And if you'll see, there's this black rubber thing on the handle of my pliers. This is actually tie wired on. They put a little piece of tie wire on and tighten it up and hold this on. These are pads, and they put these on their pliers, and this is actually part of a milker from a dairy. So when the cows go into the milking parlor, they have the suction cups or whatever that go onto the cow, and then this is the piece that goes down to the machine, so it's kind of a flexible piece. Somebody somewhere, some way, somehow discovered that these fit over the handles and they make really good pads. So that's what they do. So these pliers are really robust, really heavy duty. They have incredibly aggressive jaws in there that really grip tie wire. So these are what the real rod busters use. The next thing they use is they use these wire cutters here. And again, you'll notice they've got this little bent handle just like these pliers do. Most of the rod busters, they keep the padding on these handles. I've seen a few where they don't, but most of them keep it on there. This is not the higher rated 2000 series plier, but this is just a D248 9ST, so a 9-inch handle. I have in my other pouch, I have a version of these pliers which is a 2000 series. It's an 8-inch handle, and it has a blue grips, which is the 2000 series color. These don't have the bent handle. The 2000 series is a high strength steel that can cut through things like supposedly screws, bolts, things like that, or the soft wire that you would normally have as a rod buster to deal with. But for their snips, they don't usually use the higher strength steel. So the red handle snips are what they carry. About half the guys will carry some sort of paint pen or paint stick. This is like a felt tip marker that you kind of push down and paint will start flowing out and you can mark things. Some guys will carry these, some guys won't, but it's something that they will carry. They also carry, they're 6-foot wooden rulers. It's old fashioned, but they still carry them. It's nice because you can bend the end like that and you can get and check spacing. You don't have to be right in there to do, to actually hold your tape measure where you want it. So it's a 6-foot tape or wooden ruler. It's made by Lufkin. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And these have been around for many, many years, and this is what they carry. Then they also carry a keel, usually in a wooden holder with a little metal screw end. And then you carry a lumber crayon color that's easy to see on rebar. Something like yellow is a good one. Red, black, blue, something like that probably isn't going to show up really well on rebar, so oranges, yellows, whites, things like that are going to show up a lot better on bar when you're marking it with a keel. So the final thing, all these, you can go to get at your store or find it on Amazon or something like that. The milker, you can find these on eBay every now and again if you look for them, but to actually just find them off a shelf, it's going to be pretty tricky to find these. So that's one tool that's a little unique. And then the last one, which is the pouch, this is really unique in my opinion. These are made by a guy that I believe is a rod buster, but he lives in Central Washington. It's one of those things where you can order them through him. I don't have his name off the top of my head right now. Don't have his address. He doesn't have a website that I know of. But I can see if I can find out if there's more information that I can pass along to those who are interested. But this is one of those things where you order one and it might be a week out or it might be 3 months out. It's kind of one of those things where he makes them as he's able to. So this thing is super heavy duty. It's really thick leather. It's really well made. And yeah, it's not going to fall apart. You're not going to tear through this loop here. I mean, it is super reinforced. I can barely bend this at all. It's not going to rip and tear off your belt over several years. The ends of all the pouches have holes in them, which is number one for forming. But number two, when you get dirt and sand and dust and debris in there, it's going to come out the ends, which is nice. And then it's got a small snap link here, which if you're going to do a lot of cutting with an oxyacetylene torch, you can hook your striker onto here and have that hanging off your belt. So all in all, super heavy duty, super high quality, and then super rare. So as far as the Pacific Northwest, this I've seen quite a few guys carrying this. Not everybody does, but quite a few guys do. As far as countrywide, I don't know. If you're a rod buster somewhere in California or the East Coast or Central U.S. or somewhere like that, and you've seen these, then they're more widespread than I'm aware of. But for right now, they are up here in the Pacific Northwest, and definitely nice pouch. So anyways, let's see, a little bit of housekeeping. As far as our YouTube channel is going, thank you again for everybody that's still watching and subscribing. We are, I believe, currently at 695 subscribers, and it would be so cool to see 700. So hopefully in a couple days we'll hit that. And if you're not a subscriber, hey, help out. That'd be cool. So anyways, I hope you enjoy these videos. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them. Like I've said in the past, I don't know everything. I'm always looking for something new and interesting to learn. So share. So until next time, have a good one. I'm Dan with Dan and Sarah Makers. Remember, like, subscribe, share, comment. That always helps out. Have a good one. Bye.